Hi, welcome to What's My Podcast. I'm Jen and I'm a library specialist for Arapahoe Library District. I love learning, and in the last couple years, I've gravitated toward podcast listening for knowledge and entertainment. I spend a lot of time listening to different content, and I'd love to share some suggestions with you. Today's segment is I Bet You Didn't Know. My first podcast recommendation is No Such Thing as a Fish. Each week, Dan, James, Anna, and Andy discuss their favorite facts unearthed in the last 7 days. It is produced and presented by the researchers behind the game show QI on BBC Two. The name for this podcast comes from a fact learned from a QI episode titled Hoaxes. After a lifetime of studying fish, biologist Stephen Jay Gould concluded that there is no such thing as a fish. This podcast is for you if you like British comedy, interesting facts, and panel-style discussion. Next up is You're Wrong About, hosted by Sarah Marshall and Mike Hobbs. Sarah is a writer and teacher at Portland State University. Mike is a senior reporter on the New Economy for HuffPost. This show explores misunderstood media events, investigating why and how the public got things wrong. This podcast is for you if you want to hear in-depth discussion about certain facts that aren't as well known about popular events. Next is Your Brain on Facts. Moxie LaBouche brings you a weekly show of things you didn't know, things you thought you knew, and things you never knew you knew. Moxie is a burlesque producer and performer and enjoys feeding her inner nerd by learning random facts. This podcast is for you if you want an explanation of facts with no panel discussion. Next is The Weirdest Thing I Learned This Week, produced by Popular Science. This is a podcast where pop sci editors go to unleash the most bizarre stories they can find. You'll be shocked, delighted, and ready to fill awkward silences for the rest of your life. This podcast is for you if you like science and weird facts. You'll get a couple different points of view from the hosts. My last recommendation is Factually with Adam Conover, who talks to experts revealing shocking truths and thought-provoking new perspectives. It's an investigative comedy podcast for curious people. Adam Conover is a writer and comedian who also started a YouTube series called Adam Ruins Everything. This podcast is for you if you want to feel informed and entertained, and if you like the interview style format. There's so many podcasts out there, and sometimes it can take time to find what you like. Podcast listening can be great when folding laundry, walking your dog, or grocery shopping. Another great way to browse in your podcast app is using keywords. For this category, some good keywords are fact, trivia, random facts, or weird facts. All these podcasts can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen.